Hello everyone and welcome to this week's reviews. Disney's newest animated feature is opening and I have an early review for you. In this one we're taken to Colombia for a story about a magical family in an enchanted house. Does this continue Walt Disney Animation Studios' impressive hot streak? We find out in Encanto. I found this to be an absolutely beautiful movie which has the expected Disney elements of magic and a heroine dealing with a powerful force, but still brings its own flavor to the table. The highlight of the film for me was actually the main character. Mirabelle was maybe one of the most lovable lead protagonists to come out of the studio in the last 10 years. From the moment she's introduced, I found her a delightful presence, and the film does well in establishing her role as the only non-magical member of this family. Stephanie Beatrice also does a really nice job with her voice work. The rest of the family managed to make an impression with their individual powers being properly introduced and showcased through the course of the film. What I also admired about Encanto was how it used location. You might expect Mirabelle to go on this grand adventure, which she technically does, but mostly confined to the house and the surrounding village. I really liked how contained it was to this space and how the filmmakers used it, including the house having a personality of its own. Then there are the musical numbers, with songs written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Characters don't just break into song. The colors actually change and the sequences become immensely creative with many of the visuals. It helps Miranda create some great songs, with the opening number, the Family Madrigal, being my personal favorite. The score by Jermaine Franco is also beautiful. Encanto explores its themes quite nicely, and each character is well developed, not just Mirabelle. Directors Byron Howard and Jared Bush, along with the story team, did a lovely job with the film, and it continues to amaze me that Walt Disney Animation just keeps hitting it out of the park every time. Next up is the newest film about the spirit-catching scientists, this one directed by Jason Reitman, Ghostbusters, Afterlife. Jason Reitman is one of my favorite directors working today, and I've been a fan of every movie he has directed thus far. One of his strengths is in building character relationships, and that comes through in Ghostbusters Afterlife. While this is part of a franchise, Reitman's directorial touch does not get lost, and I appreciated that. I really liked watching this family as they moved to this small town in Oklahoma and tried to find the best use of their time. All three have intriguing arcs and storylines and are properly developed. My favorite of the three principal leads is McKenna Grace as Phoebe. The film does a good job of portraying her fascination with science and how that leads towards her discovering what a Ghostbuster is. Paul Rudd also has a really nice turn as the teacher with his own curiosity about the unusual goings-on in this place in the middle of nowhere. Of course, this is a sequel set several years after the events of Ghostbusters 2, so there are plenty of nods to the earlier films. However, these felt like organic parts of the world randomly thrown in for fan service. With that said, part of the joy of Ghostbusters Afterlife comes from how excited Reitman is to bring these props out. When we see a trap or a proton pack used for the first time, it's quite exciting. There are also appearances from the original actors, and these are integrated well into the story. I especially like the use of Elmer Bernstein's score from the first two films. His music played such an important role in the mood of Ghostbusters, and this film understands that as it's used frequently, and in all the appropriate spots. The various ghosts and monsters are also great to see, with the visual effects team doing a superb job of placing them in the scenes. Muncher, a new Slimer-type ghost, gets a great sequence, and I especially got a kick out of the mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Men. There's also a moment that made me absolutely giddy when it happened. I was grinning from ear to ear. The callbacks and action scenes are nice, but it's Reitman's great direction and the characters that truly make Ghostbusters Afterlife something special. You really grow to care about them, and I never thought I would say this about a Ghostbusters movie, but it genuinely made me emotional at one point. Jason Reitman, along with co-writer Gil Kenan, have managed to create a strong sequel and a worthy continuation to a beloved 80s classic. Thanks for watching this week's reviews, and I'll see you next time.